Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmitty, Swanee and Clarkey visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right, how are we?
Very well, yes.
Good,
it's an exciting Saturday Arvo. We don't normally do this.
I know. As I said on our group chat, let's have a little bit of afternoon delight.
Absolutely.
I don't know what that means, of course, because I'm sweet.
It's something to do with skyrockets in flight, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
True.
well, I clearly didn't know what it was then. And any news?
I've got some.
Go on.
Oh.
I'm worried that there is a serial killer in Chiltern. Chiltern is this tiny little town in northeast Victoria. It literally has one street in it. And I went there to go to the butcher the other day, and there was a Nissan Cube parking in the street. So I even got to see the driver of it. And just quietly, he did look like one.
A cube.
Well, his car was a cube. He looked like a
cube.
serial killer.
Oh,
He looked like
God.
a serial killer.
So I think, there's no doubt either bodies are about to start disappearing or he's on his way through because it's just off the highway. So he could be coming down to Melbourne.
So you didn't approach him and ask any questions as to why? Why the cube?
Excuse me, do you
what do
need
you
a
do for a
hand
living?
getting some furniture
What?
into the
What?
back of your cube?
Oh, God. I don't. I just
No.
so rarely see them here.
I gave him a wide berth. I've never seen one this close to home. That's just outrageous.
That must be very unsettling.
Maybe it was Wiggers and it wasn't a he.
Oh, you had to bring her up, didn't you? It's been a while.
She's on her way down from Queensland to get me. She'll knock me off first and then she'll head over that way. So if I disappear, go into hiding, Swanee.
Oh, God.
Anyway, that's my news. How about anyone else?
Well, you reminded me because you were talking about serial killers of something that happened yesterday.
Oh,
That I was
what
going
would that be?
I didn't even realise how that came across.
That's what I got up to.
Oh, funny you
Yeah,
should
I
say
don't-
that.
I don't think you've quite cleaned all the blood off.
I got a little bit distracted because I was trying to do a little fact checking before I launched into this story. But yesterday I was at the pet shop. I was there to buy a 20-kilo bag of bird food. I picked this thing up and I'm like, oh God, it's really heavy. And I'm walking along and I'm listening, just, catching the conversation of the two girls who work in the shop. And one is talking to the other about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And I thought, this is interesting. So,
frozen. moving?
immediately I start listening in. She was telling the other girl, that Gypsy Rose Blanchard had gotten out of jail and married someone.
Correct.
Yeah. And then the other
Very
girl
divorced.
says, oh, that was their
Yeah,
brother. Then says, oh, that was the brother who was Ryan Scott Anderson. And I'm not sure I don't think Ryan Scott Anderson was her brother because our story says that she was an only child. But this shop assistant said, oh, no, she had this kid and then gave him up. So anyway, I'm like, whatever. But then there were two things that happened that were quite amusing. One, that they're talking about this, her being married to this guy and then filing for divorce. And then I'm sort of listening and the girl looks at me and instead of what I would think would be a standard response in a shop, having worked in them before, instead of saying, can I help you with anything? She looks me dead in the eye and she goes, are you eavesdropping?
Oh,
Very
my God. No, I'm waiting for you to serve me.
I looked at her, I said, yes,
Future
I
cube
am.
driver.
No, yes, I am. And I think that surprised her. And I said, because I do a true crime podcast and we covered this story and I don't remember any of this shenanigans that you're going on about. Of course, that meant for her that she had permission and carte blanche to continue to tell this story to the other girl. Never mind, I'm holding a 20-kilo bag of birdseed, right? And I just want to pay for it and go. And she's banging on about it and she's saying to the other girl, yeah. And then so she's divorcing this guy who may or may not be actually her brother or half-brother. And she's going out with Pete Davison.
Oh, stop it.
And I'm like, what? And that's what the other girl said. The other girl's like, bullshit. And the two of the non-pop culture
Is that why he
guys
just
are
said,
saying,
I don't remember.
who is
I
Pete
have no
Davidson?
idea who Pete Davidson
Oh,
is.
gosh.
Yeah.
He was an SNL. And
Yeah,
then he was
we're not
without-
talking about Peter Davison, the English actor who played Doctor Who and other memorable characters.
Who I still couldn't pick out of a lineup.
Well, you might actually, more than I would this other Pete Davison, who's actually, as you just said, from Saturday Night Live, went out with Kim Kardashian.
Was engaged to
and
Ariana Grande. He's gone out
Ariana
with all these
Grande.
really beautiful women, and he's very well, I'm being polite. He's very ordinary looking, and he's got like an autoimmune
He is,
disease, so
isn't
he
he?
looks really skinny and gaunt and pasty, and he's covered in tats.
And now he's going
He's
out
got all
with
these hot
Gypsy
women.
Rose.
I
Well-
can't believe that. I'm going to look it up right now.
That's
I
what
do not-
I'm doing.
I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
Ariana Grande,
Chad
Kim Kardashian,
and
and
Pete.
Gypsy Rose.
I know.
One
Oh,
of
and
these
at one
kids
point he
is not
dated one.
like the other
He
one.
dated one of the girls from Bridgerton at one point. You know, the little blonde whose mum was on Coronation Street.
Yeah.
Schmitty, who? Hang on.
But apparently the internet is joking about,
Oh,
because
that
the
would make
internet is
sense.
now a
Yeah, yeah.
sentient being that is
Yeah.
joking about,
Because he's gone out with everybody. That would be, yeah.
because he's a serial dater. And so
They always,
yes.
yeah, that's right. And whenever
Right.
somebody becomes single, and usually the more far-fetched, it is like when like the Queen, when Prince Philip died, like they were like, oh, watch out, Pete Davidson.
He was spotted in the crowd.
You've got to look at what he looks like to get the sort of the full gist of why it is so
I have seen what it looks like.
entertaining,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
boys? Yeah. And like
His
there's
name
lots,
Pete Davidson.
apparently he's got a massive schlong and he's a really nice guy, but he's
All
also
right.
a massive druggo. His dad was a firefighter who was killed in September 11. Like there's this just crazy sort of story around him. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my little story that I thought you'd find amusing, is that the girl in the pet shop in Sunbury was convinced that wasn't a joke, it was true. And but my favourite part was are you eavesdropping? I
I
was
love
like,
that.
I was afterwards I
How
thought
very
about it, I
dare
thought,
you?
Actually, that's
fun.
quite rude, isn't it?
Yes.
But I was at the time it wasn't. But then I walked
You were
out
off your game there. You were really eavesdropping. Otherwise, you would have
Yeah.
fucking taken her to task.
Oh,
Well, that's what I
no,
was
right?
just like-
Imagine if you weren't.
Yes, I am.
Excuse
and I looked
me?
at her like a serial killer. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I reckon she sounds like a future Cube driver, though, for sure.
What you will find amusing is as I walked out, she yells out, "What's the name of your podcast?" And there's all these other people trying to get served, and I'm yelling out, "Trial by wine," as I'm going out. I'm like, goodness me, I don't think we'll get a new listener off that one.
That,
Little bit of
that
celebrity
explains
in
that
Sunbury.
spike in listenership overnight.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my news. So I suppose we should introduce ourselves. I'm Schmitty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarky, and together we are
Trial by
Wine.
And what are we drinking?
Oh, I've just cracked open my first Coke Zero of the day. And because it's so early, because it's 12 o'clock, I'm really enjoying it.
I love it. I love it. We've got a bit of stuff to do after we podcast. We've got a lamb on the spit, or a leg of lamb on the spit at the moment.
Milverton.
Well, not yet. He's too young for that.
Oh, what's the concept with the name?
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, I'll tell you the story. So at the moment, for those who don't know, we've got a baby lamb that we're bottle feeding because the mum passed away. And we had this happen a
So
few
is it
years
mum
ago.
on the spit?
No,
Oh,
God no.
Schmitty.
mutton.
That'd be mutton dressed up as mutton.
Yeah.
So we had this happen a few years ago, and we named the baby then Jackie Lambie, who is a politician in Tasmania. That was you always got to have a sort of a lamb joke going on with it. Anyway, when I posted that we had this one, a friend of mine said, "Oh, you need to call it Dylan or Milverton," and I'm like, "Why is that?" Apparently, Jackie Lambie has two boys. One's Dylan and one's Milverton, so we chose Milverton. So we're keeping the Lambie theme going. Yeah, so it's going round, and we've got to finish that off after this and have a bonfire in the paddock, which is when we'll actually do the proper drinking. So just a little bit of zero rosé for us for now.
Okay. Right.
Ooh, tidy. And Schmitty?
Oh, I am on a mango chutney.
The mango chuts.
Anyway, who's got a story for us today?
I do.
All right. What do we got today?
Well, we're still going with the travel theme. We've still got a few more countries to go until all of that's done
Oh,
and
we've
dusted.
probably got about 100 more countries to go, so you guys have been everywhere, man.
So anyway, today we're going to head to Indonesia and to the tropical island paradise of Bali. So we had a few days staying there with a lovely friend in her timeshare resort and spent most of the time lazing by the pool and relaxing after our hectic South American adventures. If you've never been to Bali, there's a lot to love. So think beautiful beaches, rich cultural heritage, lots of activities such as surfing, diving and hiking, delicious food such as nasi goreng and satay lilit, and of course the beautiful and super friendly Balinese people. They are really lovely. Despite all of these great reasons, Bali was never on our bucket list. And it was never on our bucket list for one main reason, which is tourists behaving badly. My view of going to Bali was going to be that, it would be those sort of end of season footy trips, crazy drunk Australian bogans letting off too much steam in a foreign country. And more recently, you lay over the top of that the insufferable Instagrammers who are either ignorant of...
Instagrammers,
yeah.
Oh, it's a lot over there. I found it. They're everywhere. Every place is inundated because there are so many places that are made to look a certain way or create, like they are capable of that, but it's off the charts. Like you can't go to certain places now. It's just full of influencers with different outfits to put on in the same place.
Yeah. They will dress up for this photo.
Yeah.
And they're either ignorant of or completely disrespectful to the local culture. So that, I can't believe that they can be that ignorant that they just go and do these offensive things. I think they are just being disrespectful. I'm sure there are some who aren't, but yeah, correct, right? That's kind of my philosophy. Anyway, so in my research, I found a couple of cracking true crime stories that I nearly ran with, but then I decided that I would endeavour to keep things lighthearted. So today I'm going to tell you a few stories about what really goes on in Bali.
Which I have to say thank you for, because our last recording, as we all know, didn't go quite according to plan, which means the last story that will go live is your hate crime one. And there was nothing lighthearted in that, having edited it. Yeah. Thank you for returning to something that's more on the comedy side, hopefully.
Let's hope so. So, I'm going to go out on a limb and break the what happens in Bali stays in Bali code. And I'm going to tell you about some of the most unfortunate and tragic ways that you can die on a holiday, along with some of the more unusual things that happen. And I feel like with all of these, that what I was talking about with the Aussie bogans and the Instagrammers, I feel like in some ways the island might be fighting back. So I'll tell you a collection of short stories. No need to brace yourselves for anything dark. There's no serious and complicated crimes, no serial killers, not even any cube drivers. Just pour yourself a drink, sit back, and feel free to chime in whenever it suits.
Okay.
But first, my sources. au.news.yahoo.com. It feels like it's somehow backwards. It's very, very confusing. But, my God, are they all over the shenanigans that go on in Bali? Most of my stories came from there. dailymail.co.uk, theguardian.com, news.com.au, and Channel 7. Right, so first up, some tourist statistics. So pre-COVID, Bali's Indonesian Tourism Industry Association recorded 6.3 million tourists. And of course, with COVID, that all dried up, and you would have seen some of those stories about what was going on in Bali with no people. As of December 2023, this had recovered to 5.37 million tourists, so well on the way to getting back to where it was. In September 2023, and Swanee, this is from the West Australian.
We were there in September 2023.
Right. Well,
probably with the rest of Perth.
They reported that in the 2022-2023 financial year, 107 Australians died in Bali.
Ooh!
And another 114 were hospitalised with serious illness as a result of accidents. So that's like 2 a week.
That's too much. That's terrible.
They're big numbers.
They are.
Now, we've discussed plenty of issues where people have died due to unsafe conditions or actions of others. And the first one that sprang to my mind was Mary Joseph in the Lafayette pool.
Mm.
That pool had so many regulations and still people didn't follow them, leading to tragedy. Now, one of the things we all love about travel is the freedom that comes with it and the sense of being carefree and that weight that comes off your shoulders. But what happens when you take people from countries used to stringent safety regulations and put them in a country with lower regulations? Well, let me tell you about some of the Indonesian holiday nightmare stories I found. The first one is Angel Billabong. So Angel Billabong is considered a must-see destination while in Bali after being popularised by, you guessed it, social media. But it's also a serious death trap. Only a short ferry ride away from Bali, many come to admire the beauty of the natural infinity pool overlooking the ocean, as well as other Instagrammable locations in Nusa Penida. However, the tranquil waters can just as easily turn into rough monster waves threatening to smash swimmers into the cliffs. And I'll show you a couple of pictures because it might give you a sense as to what I'm talking about.
All I can see is someone's bum.
Yeah, right?
That is a big bum.
I've just got
a very
visions.
attractive beach, yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a beautiful pool that overlooks the ocean. It looks fantastic.
If we could see it around that arse, yeah.
Oh no, right? It's quite large.
It's definitely been enhanced.
You get the idea. People going there to get these perfect photos. So always listen to the guides. One tourist warned on TikTok, which is where I get my travel advice from.
Yeah.
A video of 4 girls peacefully swimming in the water moments before being swallowed by the waves communicates the risk. They are very lucky, one person communicated on the Instagram video. I heard scary stories from the local tour guide when I visited Angel's Billabong. That place is magnificent, but an absolute death trap. Google how many deaths and injuries, just terrible. Luckily, we were warned by Balinese friends before going, another said. At that spot, there is a sign warning visitors not to stand close to the cliffs. However, there are none about when's the safest time to swim. I feel like most of these people wouldn't read the signs anyway.
Mm.
Not if they thought they're getting a photo.
That's right. Everything's worth the risk for the perfect photo. There have been several fatalities reported at Angel Billabong, most recently in 2018, when a 46-year-old Chinese national, Qi Wei Anhui, maybe, was taking a selfie from the water and a wave crashed into him, pulling him out to sea.
Oh.
In 2017, a similar incident occurred only on the edge of Angel's Billabong cliffs. New Zealand man Temsor Junior Simeki and his girlfriend were taking a selfie when she was hit by a wave and fell into the ocean.
Mm.
Mr. Simeki died trying to save her, the Sydney Morning Herald reports. In 2016, Perth local Brad Williams and his wife Lestari Williams were honeymooning when they were hit by a wave along the rocks at Angel Billabong. Mrs. Williams was pulled away from her husband and her body washed up on the coastline the following day.
Oh, God, when was that?
2016.
Oh, we weren't here because I've never heard that. Wow, that's awful.
So that's Angel
Before
Billabong.
my time. I find it interesting it's called Billabong. That's such an Australian word.
It is, isn't it?
It must be why, though, because so many Aussies...
I bet you're right, yeah.
Anyway, so I feel like that's a case of the island fighting back against insufferable Instagrammers, albeit very tragic deaths that I shouldn't joke about. Story number 2 is the glass walkway. And this is just going to go straight into the news story. It's pulled straight from the newspaper or Yahoo, whatever it was. A tourist has died and 3 left injured after a glass walkway shattered at a popular beauty spot in Indonesia.
Oh
Smitty, I just saw
God.
your face.
Well, that sounds horrific.
So horrific. This is the bridge.
Oh, my God. They were walking on something a billion metres up. What's with the giant golden arm? But anyway.
It's a hand holding the bridge up. It's the
not
support.
very well. And it's the glass break.
Well,
oh, my God.
Yeah. The tragedy struck while 11 tourists from Cilacap, Central Java, were crossing the Geong Bridge around 10 a.m. on Wednesday, some 30 foot or 10 metres off the forest floor.
Ow.
Two fell through the glass into the Limpakuas pine forest below, where one was later declared dead. The other sustained minor injuries. I am absolutely terrified when I go on bridges everywhere. I mean, I'd still do it, but I get terrified. A glass bridge, you can have that.
I can't believe that. I've been on glass platforms before. I always thought there would be something reinforced so that if it did shatter, that something would happen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you fall down.
This is awful of
die.
me. Yeah. But I am looking at the photos in the Daily Mail of that bloody arm. Why the nails painted? Schmitty, get a look of that. You're not going to be happy. I don't like the colour. The nails are horrendous. Get on it. Tourist dies after 30-foot high glass bridge. And it's got some very trashy red nail with gold. It's very...
Is it shellac?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh, crypto gel.
You want long
Can you
nail?
see it?
You like long nail?
Oh, honey, why you no ham?
For our listeners, that is referencing a particular comedy routine.
sketch.
Yes.
Do you know, I can't remember the name of the
Yes.
comedian who does it. It's very good.
She's
Can you
hilarious.
see it, Schmitty? You've got to see the nails. Photos
Oh,
that came
I
up.
see it. Oh,
Can you
yes.
see the nails?
Oh,
It's so tacky.
Well, that
Oh, honey.
no. I mean, in
Oh,
fairness,
honey.
That's why you not have boyfriend.
I think that's why that Richard had enough of that shit and went,
excuse me. I do think there is some cultural thing about gods, Balinese gods, having red nails and gold effigy type stuff. I think that's a cultural thing. You insensitive, non-woke person.
Oh gosh, I think
Yeah,
I've just offended
wow.
the entire.
I don't think you have.
Now,
I mean,
now the Wiggers and the Indonesian population, of which there's a number, are coming.
She's doing a
forward.
U-turn.
Well, it's
Oh, they're just.
It's-
They're just.
I wouldn't
such
be too offended
That
by it.
picture of those nails.
Swanee, to be
it's
fair,
a lot
it's not
for
the
me.
god of fashion.
It's a
That's
very
bad, isn't it?
It's a very bold
Oh.
red. It's a very bold red nail.
the bridge runs between the fingers,
The hands.
the grasping
In the
fingers
palm,
of
yes.
this giant gold arm and hand. So I can understand. For me, it's not so much the red nails; it's more the actual positioning of what are they? Is it trying to grab the bridge and destroy it? Is it holding it up? What is it doing? I find it very menacing. And then add the red nails.
I would
Why
have done a
doesn't-
little bit of landscaping around the bottom, wouldn't you?
It's
I
like
know.
a
Why doesn't
prosthetic.
the arm go down to the
I
ground?
know.
It's
I
a
know. That
prosthetic.
Did you
is.
notice the pixelation at the bottom where the bodies have landed?
No.
Oh no!
the
Oh, now I
body.
feel very
Oh, no.
bad. Oh god,
That's the
no.
body. That
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Oh my
pixelated.
god! Oh no!
Oh.
Look, it's pixelated
Oh
out.
god, I hadn't even noticed that. I was just looking at the.
And there's somebody halfway through the bridge as well. Through
You
the bridge.
two are terrible.
Muriel?
I mean, all of
Why?
it. It just the fact you pointed that out. I was looking at tourist photos of this bridge, not people dying on it. Jesus! All right.
I didn't even know what I was looking at, but now I feel particularly bad because I was looking at it from a sort of a landscaping / design point of view.
Oh, I
didn't
see,
realise that people's
yes.
bodies were there, and now I feel.
Yeah,
oh,
because
God.
we were looking at the
if I
red
wasn't being
nail polish
offensive
at the
before,
top. We weren't
Looking
looking at
at
the
red
bodies
nail
at the
polish.
bottom. Yeah.
I know I didn't realise what I was focusing on. Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry.
Oh, but also, you say you're sorry and that's terrible, but why are the press even showing photos with that sort of stuff in it? That's not.
I know,
good.
right? It's not.
It annoys me that they do that. Ghoulish.
So back to the story then, because it does. The next bit says.
Stop laughing at me. Ghoulish. And now, tell us more about
back
someone
to the,
dying.
Well, no, because it links nicely. Video shot nearby shows a tourist struggling to climb back up immediately after the glass walkway shattered earlier this week.
Oh, God.
The camera refocuses to show the body of another unnamed tourist below, having fallen through the glass. Above, onlookers rush to help the trapped tourists before helping them off the bridge. There's a thing in Melbourne called Eureka Tower, and it has
Yeah, no
this thing
way.
called the Edge.
No way.
We got free tickets to it. Now I'm scared of heights, so we went up there and we did the viewing deck, and then we gave the tickets to the Edge thing away. The Edge thing is where you go into a dark room, it slides out from the edge of the building, and then you hear the sound of breaking glass.
Who thinks
and
that's funny?
The glass that looked like
It
it
looks
was
like it's shattering and
opaque
breaking, yeah.
becomes
Like you're
open.
falling through. I mean, who in their right mind designs shit like this and says this is a great idea? And how many? That's like 30 stories or something. So it's one of the highest towers in Melbourne.
I had no interest in that.
I've never done it, but and for the same reason, I just think, what idiot? No, thank you.
Yeah, I'd rather do true crime podcasts.
You could go to Bali and have the real experience. Go on the bridge and actually.
I wonder if it's actually part of some kind of a ride.
Maybe that's where they got the idea.
No, but you notice that the people who are on the bridge at the time it shatters are tourists.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep that in the back of your mind, because the island could
this
very
is the
well be
island
fighting
coming
back.
Yeah, the
Going
island's
back to-
fighting back. Well, with your Angel Billabong, while you were telling that story, I kept it was raking my brain to think of going back to my cryptozoology days, the name of the animal, the bunyip. Maybe To your point,
Ah.
Swanee, about it being called a billabong. Maybe it's called a
Yes.
billabong because it's actually a bunyip that comes up and grabs people and puts them in the water. They're not being washed
Yeah.
away at all. The island
like
is
your
fighting
thinking.
back.
I reckon against insufferable Instagrammers.
So I was just having a little look online, and it said here, I've got a headline that says Indonesian glass bridge that shattered. It was just 1.2 centimetres thick. Now, my understanding is anything it's like walking on your bloody shower screen. What we've done here is we put a shower screen, and it says investigators also found the bridge had not been properly maintained, that there had been no safety testing nor safety nets. You've basically, my understanding is whenever I've been places that have been very high and there's glass, whatever else, and it must be, like I'm thinking it's like 10 centimetres thick, and then there's steel underneath it, and there's all these other things. But no, walking across a shower screen is really not going to...
People have
exactly what you mean,
glasses
too,
that are
yeah.
thicker than that.
Bottle glasses, yeah. Oh my
True.
God.
That's not enough.
Probably wasn't even tempered glass. It was
that's
just like
awful.
glass.
Yeah.
That'll do. That is
It was
shocking.
perspex.
But I think
So
the
if it
lesson
didn't shatter,
in
it just
that,
cut you open as you fell through it.
oh, don't. The lesson in that, Swanee, is never assume that the person who
Yes.
has built the bridge has actually done any of the things from a safety perspective that you would like them to
Oh,
have done.
God, yeah.
That was kind of my point around the safety expectations that we have here. So we go, we all think, there's so much safety stuff here that we go over there and act crazy. They don't have it.
Oh,
Right.
my God.
Swanee's just like holding up the gap between her fingers of 1.2 centimetres.
When I,
oh my God.
When I went to university in Canberra, in the first year I lived in a share house, and it was owned by a woman who was, I thought she was old. She was probably in her mid-20s, and I boarded with her, kind of thing, with another student. Anyway, one morning it was so cold when I got up, I was in the shower and it shattered whilst I was in there. Like the
shower
it didn't break, but it shattered. It didn't all fall down. So but it had that sort of like ruffled look, so it was a bit smoky. You couldn't quite see in.
Yeah.
Maybe this bridge would have benefited from the smoky, the smoky 70s ruffle look, so that would have at least, when it did shatter, it didn't totally collapse.
Well, that's the thing. It's like windscreen glass and things like that. Unless something goes through it, it's not supposed to actually shatter and collapse.
Yeah. Because that was what the woman said to me. What did you do? What did you do? And I was like, honestly, it was just, I did nothing. It scared the hell out of me. But she's like, you sure you didn't like touch it or knock? I was like, honestly, it was just, it must have been the cold to the hot.
Was it? No, that's just age and expansion. You don't have to do anything for that. But it does beg the question with the glass used in this bridge, whether or not it's tempered or reinforced at all.
Yeah.
It sounds like it wasn't.
Yeah. Not as what at one point.
I think it begs the question, is the island fighting back?
All right.
I think it is.
Tell us another island fights back
Next story.
Yeah.
A 22-year-old tourist has died after falling off a 15-metre cliff in Bali while admiring the romantic sunset with his girlfriend on Tuesday evening. Imagine that.
Wasn't very romantic at the end of that. Oh.
Maximilian Alexander Tenzer from Germany visited the popular lookout at Puraluhar Sriyong Beach with his
Where's
21-year-old
Manhandi?
partner Selena. It's
Manhandi. Maximilian.
Manhandi.
It always makes me laugh. So he was with his girlfriend Selena and was filming the sun disappearing below the horizon when he slipped and tumbled down a ravine at Hindu temple Puraluhar Sriyong.
Shit.
Local media reports. Now here's the
Not a
cliff.
good way to go. Oh, 15 minutes didn't sound very high, but now I'm looking at it. That's horrific.
Yeah.
It's
And
quite
it
a sheer
tumbled.
drop too. Like it's not one of
It's
those
a
ones where you could
proper
fall off and hang on to
Roll off.
something.
Yeah.
You are
oh, my
gone.
God. The island fights back. Slipped or a bunyip?
Because the victim was not careful and didn't pay attention to his steps, the victim didn't realise he was on the edge of a cliff and fell down.
In whose opinion? We can't
this
hear
was-
we can't hear from the victim who says, I took
wasn't
extra
careful
care
enough."
with my steps. Thank you
This
very
was-
much.
Tabanan police spokesman Gusti Made Barata.
Victim blaming, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
He said the German traveller was distracted by his mobile phone
Here
and
we go.
accidentally wandered too close to the cliff's edge.
Right. Maybe put up a fence.
Or maybe pay attention.
Put up a fence and put 1.2 centimetre glass
Yeah.
walls around it to keep people
That's
safe.
it.
to keep the bunyip out.
Yeah. Shower screens. Keep us safe.
Honestly,
Right.
the number of times we saw people on their phones at, so many different places, and it's atrocious. Like, they just want the perfect shot. They do things, get closer and closer to the edge, and you look at them and going, well, good on you, but every now and then the island fights back.
This episode is either called The Island Fights Back or Darwin Awards. One or the other.
I couldn't work out. There was a lot of Darwin Award going
Yeah.
through my mind. A distraught Selena shouted for help and contacted the taxi driver who had dropped them off before begging nearby residents for help. Police soon arrived in the area but could immediately tell the 22-year-old had succumbed to
terrible.
his severe injuries. Now, you'll like this one. Footage posted on Facebook by Potsa Buana Bali Rescue show members walking through brush at the bottom of the cliff, locating Tesna's body.
No, I don't like this. This upsets me. Too much stuff is filmed and put online.
Oh, why would you put that on Facebook? After being checked, the victim was no longer conscious. His head was bleeding, his ears were bleeding, and he was dead, Barata said.
Awful.
But still put it on Facebook.
I know, it's
knob.
disgusting.
Ugh.
No respect for the victim.
Let's move on to the next story. Swanee does have a connection to your neck of the woods.
Oh.
A 26-year-old... Yeah, so this is called Scooter Crash. A 26-year-old man from Fremantle, WA, has died in Bali after being trapped in a drainage ditch where it's believed he crashed his scooter. The body of Keith Coughlin, originally from Ireland, was found by a local in the early hours of Sunday morning while walking along the North Kuta Road. The local spotted the dumped vehicle on the side of the road before seeing the victim's legs trapped under the wreckage. Nine News reported. I like this line.
So it's like a little bike. When we say scooter, it's not a...
Yeah, like a little Vespa-y kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. It's believed police are investigating whether alcohol was involved after finding 7 bottles of beer at the scene. I feel like that's going to be a short investigation.
Well, why would there be 7 bottles at the scene if they were?
They might have been on the bike.
Yeah.
He might have been coming
He might
back
have been
from the
going. He might have
bottle
been heading out to go for a drink. He might not have had any.
That's what has to be investigated.
Yes,
Yeah.
so 7
That's
beers.
right.
7 beers is not a lot if he's off to a big party.
It depends if he's bought a case and he's had 17 of them on the way.
Yeah, true.
Next story. This one's a bit scary too. Do you want the headline straight up?
Yep.
5 killed as elevator at Bali Resort plunges down ravine.
Down a ravine? How does an elevator fall down a ravine?
It fell out of the hotel, obviously.
Jesus.
And it was made of
The bunyip
shower
got it.
screen glass. So they all had a good view.
It's the idea of an elevator falling out of a hotel.
Think of it as just a shower. It's just a shower, an external shower that people get in and take.
Yeah.
It's like Willy Wonka's flying.
Augustus Gloop.
James and the great glass elevator or whatever it is.
Yeah. When Willy Wonka at the end of the film, when they go out, that's what happened.
I
But
love
then
that
it crashed
scene.
down a ravine instead.
Lucky they ended the movie when they did, or that's how it would have ended.
It's just Woo saying, oh, obviously it fell out of the
Fell out of the hotel. Where else do you find an elevator?
Oh, shit. How did it happen? Obviously the hotel
I
had an
need images
elevator
of
in
this.
a
I need
ravine.
to know where this hotel is.
okay.
To tell.
Do we want more detail? Yes.
I
not just
need
the
some
headline.
detail. This one at the moment,
Okay.
I've got the image of a shower, just a shower with people standing in it, going down the side of a hotel. They cut costs.
5, yeah.
Shower. Jeez, that's a big shower. Big walk-in.
Standing room only.
Oh, my God.
Balinese police are investigating the catastrophic failure of a lift that left 5 hotel workers dead at a resort on Friday. So these ones aren't tourists.
No.
Oh,
The accident took place at Ubud's Ayutthaya Resort about 1 p.m.
I'm fucking terrified. Resort, yes.
I know, right? And is believed to have occurred when a cable in the inclined lift carrying the 3 women and 2 men snapped plunging them 100 meters down
Oh,
a steep ravine
that's
at
like
the
a-
hillside resort.
This is again a safety
Yep.
thing because elevators are supposed to have multiple cables that can hold it in the event of something going wrong with one. They're also supposed to have like a brake system. It's a
In
whole
which
bunch
country?
Like little legs
That's-
that come
well,
out.
Yes, that's right. I know it's about my expectation of first world countries have this safety.
And do they have to be
Oh.
steel cables or can they be
Nylon.
rope? Yeah.
Now they got Indiana Jones vibes going.
We
on.
only had string,
Oh.
so we had to use that. This is from the 6th of September last year, this article.
Isn't that shocking? Yeah.
These things, how they don't make the news over here, I don't know. Anyway,
So is the hotel on the coast? Because
Yeah, it's a-
might have
No,
rusted
it's
the
not.
cable or-
It's not the coast.
a
It's
hillside.
not.
Sorry, it's a hillside resort, is what
It's-
I meant. Not
Oh my
coast.
god! I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
watched it. Right, you can see. it.
watched it. Oh, you.
I just
Googled.
googled Ubud.
Why would you do
Elevator.
that?
Oh, you can't, I just couldn't get my. Like, I don't know what I've
I
said.
just brought up Instagram.
I just
Well,
checked
no,
on TikTok.
I was just interested in what sort of lift it was. I think it's one of those ones where it's. I can't say the whole thing. I think it's like there's a lot of them in Europe, like in Italy and stuff. When you're on cliffs, like it's called a lenticular, I think, that kind of take.
Funicular?
Funicular. That's
Funicular,
it.
yeah.
Funicular.
Funicular,
What do I
yeah.
call it? A lenticular. What do I call it?
Yeah,
That's
something like
else.
that.
Something- yeah. Anyway, you've got it right. I've got it wrong. But that kind of thing that is to take you when there's like a cliff to take you down to a beach. I think it's a similar thing. I don't think it's one of those like straight up and down. I think it's gone like that.
Right.
And it's shot down.
Right.
You could only see the base of it. You can see people getting into it, and it starts to head up, and then it looks like it's released back down. So I think it's one of those
So it's
angles.
probably how they got up to work.
I
or
think so.
something.
Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
A Kaylin inclined lift, yes. So that's right. So it's not one of these. It's a like one that's taking you up somewhere. I think up a cliff.
And
It's
from what
just
I've
still
read,
dead.
there was footage of it a couple of years earlier where there were 3 ropes attached to it, and when it went, there was only one left. So back to
Oh,
the safety
God.
thing about
Yeah.
who needs 3? Was it you, Paul, who said how many ropes do you actually expect to have on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, apparently once upon a time it had 3, but not at the time of the accident. How shocking.
Ubud's police chief, Mader Uda, told media the steel swing rope was not strong enough to pull the weight upwards, which was quite heavy, and the safety wedge or brake did not function, so the elevator slid down at high speed. As a result, the 5 elevator passengers died.
And do you know what? I don't even think it got up that far because in the footage, it's the camera is based. It's focused at the base of where the elevator starts. You see them walk into the elevator, and then it goes out of shot, and it's only a matter of seconds, and it's back down. So I don't think it's even gone to its maximum height. I think it's gone up some way, and the sheer weight of the people in the lift, at that incline, or decline, I guess, going down. Oh God, that's horrendous.
That is bad.
I think about this shit all the time when you guys must do it as well, but when you're traveling and things are like they're literally
Old.
not quite too good
Yeah.
to be true. Oh God, I've seen old, but like other things where you think, oh, I don't really like the idea of that, or I'm not totally, it seems we're asking a lot of that.
height-related.
We're asking
Yeah.
a lot of that. I think it's
Yeah.
okay, but you just think, oh, thank God I'm off that. But I often think one of my biggest fear is at carnivals and things. Holy shit, on rides.
Yeah.
I get off thinking, oh God, I'm so glad we survived, which is probably not ideal.
Someone walking off a cliff, that's not so bad, but someone on an elevator.
Oh, these
Doing
poor
their
workers.
job,
Plunges.
just
I
doing
know,
their
right?
job and expecting their employer has
No.
at least some modicum of safety for them. Yeah, it's shocking.
Terrible.
All right, let's go on to the next story.
Mm.
And this one's titled Landslide.
The thing is, just on the other one, technically that elevator did fall out of the hotel.
It did?
it's Just,
Who knew?
no, it was not what I was expecting.
Yeah. Talk about 101 ways to die in Bali.
Oh my God.
Two tourists, including an Australian woman, have been killed on the Indonesian resort island of Bali after heavy rain triggered a landslide that swept away their villa, an official said.
That is
Oh my
definitely
God.
the island striking back. Eat, love, pray, die in landslide.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, the wooden villa in Jitului, I think I'm nailing my pronunciation, village on the popular tourist island was hit by the landslide on Thursday morning after a downpour in the area the previous night. Local disaster mitigation agency official Nyoman Srinadagiri told AFP. The victims were evacuated from the debris whilst in sleeping positions. There were two victims, a man and a woman in one bed, he said. The female victim, 47, was born in Australia and had a US permanent residence permit, while the male victim was reported to be her 50-year-old Dutch partner.
Oh, did you say they were evacuated in a sleeping position?
Well, they pulled them from the rubble. So the article that I have absolutely plagiarised referred to them as being evacuated, but I feel like they were pulled out of bed.
So you're saying they look like they're asleep, but the next thing you know, you're covered in a ton of mud.
I didn't say it looked like they were asleep. I'm saying they were in bed. Landslides and floods triggered by intense rains on Sumatra Island last week killed at least 27 people.
Oh.
Clarky, I think you're going to have to start, like, as an influencer. You mentioned it before. I think the title will be on Instagram. You can have a page called 101 Ways to Die on Bali, as opposed to everyone's talking about the beautiful resorts and the beautiful this and the beautiful that. You just do a little thing each day.
That's a great idea.
How to die today. Who died today? That's terrible.
I could set up like an Instagram page and name it John Wayne Gacy or some other serial killer and just post footage of insufferable Instagrammers dying. And it'd be like I'm a serial killer on Instagram killing off people who are...
Instagram.
So annoying. Imagine if you could do that. You didn't kill the people. You just killed their Instagram account.
Oh my God, this is getting bad.
Just their accounts, not the people. All right. Next story is dog attack.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you get a rabies shot.
A Melbourne man is recovering in a Bali hospital after he was found unresponsive on the side of the road with multiple injuries. Tay Evans, 35, was enjoying a surfing trip with his friends a month after getting engaged to his long-term partner, Jessica Dennis, both 35, but a tragic accident left him fighting for his life. He'd gone back to work as a teacher. We just had a European holiday, and that's when we got engaged. Things were looking amazing, he told Yahoo News Australia, who are all over this shit.
Yahoo!
Yahoo! That's what the people said as they went down the elevator. Or the landslide.
Too soon? Yes.
Too far? Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
He had a bit of time before work. He'd had a tough few years, and then this happened. The accident happened on the morning of the 25th of August. However, it was sometime before anyone, including Ms. Dennis, learned of what happened. When Mr. Evans awoke from a coma 2 days later, Ms. Dennis received a phone call later that night and jumped on a flight to Bali first thing. At first, details were unknown, but it's believed Mr. Evans was alone and riding a scooter through South Kuta when tragedy struck. It's understood 3 stray dogs targeted him, causing him to dodge them and spin out, throwing him off the scooter and into a concrete slab. The fall left him with multiple broken ribs, a punctured lung, a ruptured spleen, a fractured elbow, vertebra and pelvis, as well as damaged kidney, all of which were causing severe internal bleeding.
And he had no travel insurance, I bet.
What speed was he doing?
I don't know. Maybe the dogs hoed into him afterwards too. Who knows?
It's unbelievable.
Now get this bit. Tragedy deepens as hospital runs out of blood.
Ooh.
When he arrived at the hospital, doctors couldn't find a pulse and he was rushed into surgery right away. But soon enough, doctors realised there wasn't enough of his O negative blood to make it through, meaning his chance of survival was slim. I didn't know it was such a high chance he wasn't going to make it. I had no idea, and I don't know if I'm grateful or not for that.
That he made
That's
it?
apparently what his girlfriend said. I don't really understand that bit, but anyway.
That's nice. Is he been left with a couple of issues? Has he now? I don't know if it was worth it, really.
that one that mauled his face just turned me right off.
I don't know.
No. But now this is how beautiful the Balinese people are. On learning there was not enough blood, a friend of Mr. Evans, Michael, who was in Bali with him, called on a local man he knew. They managed to get a bus full of locals and they tested everyone until they got the right blood type. They even called in doctors to open up a nearby hospital where they drew enough blood before it was transported to the hospital ahead of Mr. Evans' surgery. Bag by bag, they ended up getting enough. It's crazy how many people there are to thank for Tay being alive today.
Wow.
Wow.
Imagine that. I feel like if that happened in Melbourne, people are like, oh, fuck off, I've got to get to work. What else could go wrong on my journey?
I'm O positive, so I can't help you. But yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what I am. That's bad.
Only 7% of the population are O negative.
There you go.
So a lot of people on that bus would have been wasting their time.
93%.
Oh, God.
That's funny. All right, last story is titled Kung Fu Motorbike. And this is the one, so pay attention, this is the one that I want you to sentence. An Aussie tourist has been filmed kung fu kicking a Balinese motorcyclist and throwing himself at a moving car in a bizarre rampage. The footage circulating on social media was filmed in the popular Aussie tourist destination of Kuta as stunned locals watched on. They can be heard screaming at the tourist, dressed in a white t-shirt and brown shorts, as he launches into a flying kick, knocking a local cyclist off his motorbike.
Those cats were fast as lightning. It was a little bit frightening.
As a local can be heard yelling out, "Hey, stupid," the footage then appears to show the tourist deliberately running into the bonnet of a moving car.
Hey, stupid, cut it out.
As he charges towards the car, the tourist can be heard shouting, "Fuck this, fuck you, you fucking see you next Tuesday," before throwing himself at the car.
I hate this car. It's a Nissan Cube.
Yeah, that's right. Brushing off the impact, he can then be seen running down the street while being chased by two locals. The Seven Network identified the man as Nicholas Carr, a 26-year-old apprentice builder from South Australia. The incident is believed to have happened at 5:30 a.m. on Saturday
someone's
morning.
Been drinking a lot.
Imagine being the poor local on his motorbike at 5:30 a.m.
Going off to start your day at work or something.
Oh, old mate crazy.
Fuck you. Fuck you all.
Yeah. Fuck this.
Fuck. Yeah.
Police allege Carr smashed mini-mart window, a smashed restaurant window, and assaulted a man sleeping in his bed. Pictures taken later show Carr tied up by his feet and covered in blood. I think that's when the locals have captured him. He was hospitalised after authorities will be he was hospitalised and will be undergo psychiatric testing. His fly kick victim, Wayan Wirawan, luckily sustained only minor cuts and grazes. I was on my way to work. Suddenly, a foreign man kicked me. I was extremely shocked. Yeah. So now I'm going to ask you to sentence, but before I do, I'm going to show you the footage of the incident, just so that you can clearly see what we're dealing.
What a drunk Aussie looks like.
Okay.
What a dipshit.
Yeah, but it is a little bit, ninja-esque, just out of nowhere.
I have to say, it was pretty impressive in and of itself. No one was hurt. It was like he had some real height.
Kicking him, I didn't expect him to go like football tackle up there, Kazali high on the back of the bike and smack him like that. That's incredible.
That is everything I hate about tourists in Bali.
Yeah.
Like,
anyway,
come on, mate. That poor bloke is on his way to work. And
why are you doing this?
What on earth makes you think that that's okay?
It's disgusting.
I hate it.
Okay. So we're sentencing him?
Yeah, absolutely we are.
I'm taking his passport off him and I'm not allowing him to travel more than 5 kilometres from his home.
Oh, that's a good one.
Lockdown.
Oh, you are locked down, my friend, because you can't behave nicely in society. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Swanee?
Well, I think you should definitely do some time in Bali. A little bit of time.
No. Extradite him to Thailand. Send him to Bangkok Hilton.
I was going to say, I don't know that it's much better in Bali necessarily either. I don't know. I think it would have to come back to sort of some cultural understanding and just make him feel like absolute shit for treating people with zero respect. I don't know. It's awful. I just don't see a lot of it in real life. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure when you're in Bali, you probably didn't come across people treating anybody badly either.
No,
I'm not in those. You're not going to those places. Not.
No, I mean, you see lots of drunk
opposite.
people having fun and carrying on, but they don't attack other people randomly like that. You know, like I've seen plenty of obnoxious tourists, but they're just a bit irritating. They're not actually doing things.
Yeah, I know it happens. I just haven't seen it firsthand, but I know. So that to see that example is exactly what you think
quite shocking. Yeah.
Is that what it is? I'm floored by
bad.
that shit. Yeah. He's just out of control. Wouldn't have mattered. He wouldn't have gone because it was a Balinese. He wouldn't have given a shit who it was. He was just out there.
He probably does that
control.
shit back in Australia
Probably.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a feral. Put him on a P&O and he'll, that story that you covered in the cruise.
He's the kind of guy who, punched someone and
they were from Adelaide too.
They were from Adelaide.
Adelaide, you've got a problem.
Yeah. So I think, you know the story of Solomon Grundy?
I don't think I do.
He was someone who lived for a week. So it was like Solomon Grundy, born on Monday, blah, 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 and he died.
I definitely do not know of him, no.
No.
It's the first time hearing.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday, took ill on Thursday, grew worse on Friday, died on Saturday, buried on Sunday. That was the end of Solomon Grundy.
Okay.
So that's how it goes.
Have you been saying this since you're a small child, or is this something? I mean, where did you get it from? How do you know about it? You just grew up with it?
It's a thing. Yeah,
I don't know. It sounds a little bit familiar, but I don't know personally.
What I enjoy is, in Wikipedia it says not to be confused with Salamagundi or Solomon Gundy, of which I don't know what they are either.
Thank God.
Yes.
They would be insufferable Instagrammers, surely.
Probably, yes. No, there's something to do with pickled herrings and the shit. Anyway, go on.
So I think we should change his name to Solomon Grundy, but instead of being born on a Monday, it can be Solomon Grundy, dog attack on a Monday, landslide on a Tuesday, Angel Billabong on Wednesday,
Shower screen,
elevator on a Thursday, glass bridge on a Friday. You get it. And he can just have that same week over and over and over again.
Fair enough. I think that's a good one.
I like it.
Oh, maybe Sunday can be kung fu kicked on a Sunday.
And then the dogs can get him again.
Yeah. There you go. That's, lots of ways to die in Bali.
Or the island strikes back.
Or I feel like it needs a theme tune, but that's it.
And again, Swanee's like, what are you on?
Nice. I like it.
All right. Well, that was a very funny collection of random stories. So thank you very much, Clarky. And I kind of enjoyed it, although...
Particularly found the hilarious one to be the glass bridge. I love how you said that was a collection of funny stories or something like.
Well, yes, it was, I know they were real crackers.
It is terrifying.
Funicular. I mean, the elevator falling out of a hotel is an image I'll not forget in a hurry. Although having then looked it up, I was like, oh, that's actually really bad. But the way when we said obviously it fell out of a hotel, I still find that funny. Yeah. Right. Anyway, thank you for that. And as we say every week, miss you already.
Ciao.
Miss you already. Ciao.
Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine, or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from Pixabay.com.